All right, as everybody starts populating in, we'll get the show started. Welcome into the TexAgs post-game wrap brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance. My name is David Nuño, and we got to thank Higginbotham for bringing us this show today. You probably only think about insurance when you need it, but at Higginbotham, they think about your risk because they want you covered all year long. They start by listening and end with a custom solution that fits your needs and your budget. They do it all: car, home, health, business, and employee insurance. Higginbotham's got you covered. Higginbotham, the place that leads with value so that your value leads. Call Tyler Smith at 979-871-3162 or visit higginbotham.com. All right, A&M falls in the nail-biter 24-20. A game where, honestly, guys, in the fourth quarter, they had their chances. Too many mistakes in this game, too many costly mistakes, but I think we are seeing this team grow up. There's been some positives and some negatives there from Haynes King that people I'm seeing on social media. I give that guy a lot of props the way he ended that game. I know that last pass was not ideal. It was not a good pass, but there was pass interference, in my opinion, in that call. So we'll go through the game. We'll bring on Jordan Pugh on the show. We'll bring on Brandon Leone, and we'll try to get to some of your messages here during the show. So the game was a little bit back and forth there in the first quarter. 7 punts between the two teams, including some good defense by A&M with a four-man front. Yes, we got that four-man front finally back. In the second quarter, a 3rd and 4 offsides gives Bama a little bit new life. Jalen Milroe runs for 33 yards, puts Bama in the red zone. Where was the spy on that play, guys? Didn't see it. 3rd and 8, Milroe throws a 10-yard touchdown, 7-0 Bama. Now, after A&M's 5th punt, the defense comes up big. Fidel Diggs, who had a huge game, gets a sack, forces a fumble, A&M ball. Catches by Chris Marshall and Evan Stewart, puts the Ags on the 5-yard line. Moose Muhammad there with a 5-yard touchdown, 7-7. But not for long. Bama answers with 3-play scoring drive. A big run by Jameer Gibbs, who was eating up the Aggies. Then a 35-yard touchdown from Milroe to Jermaine Burton, 14-7 Bama. Bama with a chance to score after another 3-and-out from A&M, but the defense forces another Milroe fumble. Jalen Jones picks it up. I think he could have kept on going. Walter Nolan does get dinged up on the play, would come back in the game and play a huge role as well. Haynes throws it deep to Evan Stewart, who makes the catch at the 6-yard line, a 43-yard stack. Then a beautiful design play to Donovan Green, where Haynes throws across his body to a wide-open Green, who made a block before releasing, crossing to the other side, 14-14 at that point. Before the half, Milroe tries to go deep for Jordan Gilbert with the pick, but then a few seconds later, Haynes gives it right back. Evan falls, Bama picks it off. Bama kicks a 50-yard field goal. That was a costly field goal, by the way, 17-14 at the half. In the second half, an almost picked by Denver Harris, but nope. Bama goes down the field, 4 plays, 75 yards, a 29-yard touchdown pass from Jalen Milroe to Ja'Cory Brooks, 24-14 Bama. The defense, though, forces another fumble. Walter Nolan pops it out. I told you he'd make a big play, and he sure did. Haynes severely overthrows Moose on a for-sure touchdown, in my opinion, but Moose makes a spectacular catch. Later would drop the potential touchdown. The Ags can't punch it in, so they settle on 3, 24-17. Bama running on the Ags again, but Jared Kerr forces a sack, a long field goal attempt, and Bama misses that one. So we go in the fourth quarter, and it's a one-score game, and the Ags go for it on the 4th and 3 from the Bama 39-yard line, but Deuce Fatheree gets burned, and Haynes has to throw it away, Bama ball. A&M was supposed to get the ball again, but another mistake, a punt with 12 men on the field, so Bama keeps the ball. It's like a turnover there, roughing the passer after that. They missed the field goal once again, so the Ags with another chance. They would hit a field goal 24-20 at that point. Then they forced a 3-and-out, and the final parts of the game was all about Evan Stewart making that spectacular catch right there, some amazing catches down the field, a pass interference call there, which could have ended the game on an interception. 3 seconds left, and you know that final play, which if you haven't seen my Twitter, I got a really good close-up. It looked like pass interference, no doubt about it. The throw was not there. Doesn't matter. Bama wins this game 24-20, and that's how the game was written. So let's do this. Let's start going to our guests. We'll go back and forth between Jordan Pugh and Brandon Leone. We start things off with Brandon Leone, who watches the game every year from Disney World. He joins the show. Brandon, thank you for joining the show, brother. Your thoughts? I know you were very frustrated with the mistakes early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games, right, where you had every opportunity in the world to win. And it seemed like Alabama was just doing everything they could to give it to us, and we were doing everything we could on the offensive side to not take it. You know, I just think about missed opportunities. Again, the defense created 4 turnovers. They had 2 missed field goals, and we scored 17 points. Every single point that we scored tonight was because of a short field or a turnover that was created by our defense. So our offense literally created nothing on their own without the defense's help, and I think that's more than just 2 weeks in a row. And so I just think it's frustrating, man. I know we have talented guys on that unit. I think that the time for excuses or saying it's a lack of execution or a quarterback play or we're thin or we're young, I think the time for there's too many teams across the country that are executing at a pretty high level with severely less talent than us. And man, if the offense could have put together 2 drives today on their own, like 2 drives, we would have won this football game. I mean, we really could have won this game pretty big if the offense showed anything on their own tonight. But look, here's the exciting thing. I don't want to be too negative because I love this team, I love this program. We're seeing a lot of young players making a lot of plays, man. It's good to see these guys start to grow up. That's a super encouraging thing. I don't really know what to say. I don't know where you go from a standpoint at this stage as far as offense goes. Again, 5 punts on 5 positions. Last week, I think Mississippi State defense gave us 3 chances, and we didn't do anything with it. Especially on the road, Nuno, you got to execute. When the defense gives you an opportunity to take the crowd out of the game, get a little bit ahead, and give yourself some cushion, you have to take advantage of it. And we just didn't do it. We did when they created turnovers, we took advantage of it a little bit. But still, man, the lack of execution on offense, and I don't know, I don't care what at this point about execution. We've got to find a way to simplify this offense so young players and inexperienced players can help this team move the football down the field. We don't move the football well. We make everything look hard, and for the life of me, man, I got so freaking excited on that last drive, and I don't understand it. From 2 yards out, in my opinion, I don't care what anybody says about the O-line. Man, why didn't 6 get the ball on that last drive? I just feel like 6 needed to be the guy with the ball. And 13's obviously proven. Actually, let me say this about 13. He played his freaking tail off tonight. He really did. He did his best. Missed a lot, and he was pressure tonight. But ultimately, number 6 should have probably got the rock. That's my personal.
So, Brandon, let's do a couple positives, and of course, there's plenty of negatives to get into, like the mistakes that you tweeted about. I want to get into that here in a moment, and I know Jordan's going to be all over the offense as well. He brings it raw every time, but Evan Stewart grew up, right? He after making a few mistakes this season, that last drive, he made some catches today that were spectacular, and that last drive for Haynes, I'm going to tell you, yeah, they got the benefit of some pass interference call, but the bottom line is, Haynes did rally the troops on that last drive. He looked like he was more decisive, and he looked like a leader. Too many times earlier in the game, I felt he was scared. He didn't play scared in that fourth quarter.
No, he didn't play scared. But Nuno, again, I'm not trying to be a hater here. Haynes got bailed out by Evan Stewart. I'm glad he put the ball downfield. Can anybody see what happens when you put the ball in one's hand? Yeah, he dropped one against Mississippi State, but Evan Stewart grew up. We got bailed out by some penalties on that last drive. Let's just be honest. But we found a way down there, and we didn't execute. But man, I don't know. Again, I think everybody can go back and watch the tape on their own. I do like what someone said, that I should take my phone away during the game. I appreciate that feedback. I definitely need to quit tweeting because I get really pissed off. But yeah, man, I just think Haynes grew up. I do think that. But man, we kept running the option. I don't care if the dude runs a 4.1 in the 40. It doesn't look like it. I don't think that the option is going to work, especially when we run it to Will Anderson's side. And I just want to say this, man. The defense was amazing tonight. I think that's what I kept talking about on Twitter tonight, man. They played so well tonight, and there were so many young players on the field, dude. And then when Gilbert got hurt, he came back in, but you just kept seeing guys go down. Deuce Harmon went out. I'm like, my goodness, how many guys are we going to lose? And they just kept executing. So it was encouraging to see the defense play the way they did. It's going to be really encouraging if we can actually figure it out on offense soon, because I do think this team has shown that they're fighting, man. They're battling. These young playmakers, these young studs are turning it on. And I do think you get to the bye week, this football team can win out. I don't think that there's any reason that this football team should lose another game. I don't care who's left. There's no one with a talented roster. I don't care about lack of depth. We should win out, Nuno. Do you not agree?
Yeah, and this is what I was going to say to that. So this game, look, the offense is still a work in progress. The offensive line is bad. All right, the offensive line is bad. And even though Haynes is rushing a lot of throws and he isn't connecting as much as we'd like, the offensive line is not putting him in a good spot. But you look at the second half of the schedule, and your mindset should be, let's find 9 wins, win a bowl game, and get to 10 wins. After all the issues with App State, with what happened at Mississippi State, you win these games that are all winnable. I think Ole Miss is winnable, okay? I think all these games are very winnable. You get yourself 9 wins. You run the table at home a lot of your games, by the way, the rest of the way. And yes, you got to go to Auburn. You're going to win that. You have to play a South Carolina team on the road. Fine. Your team grew up. You played here at Alabama. You've grown up from this. You win these next rest of these games. Get yourself to 9 wins and with a chance to get 10 in a bowl game.
Absolutely. Listen, there should be no less expectation than that, David. I mean, there should be none. We've shown tonight, again, that this team can play with anybody, right? You beat 2 top 15 teams, you lose to App State, Mississippi State. How many times did we bite ourselves in the foot tonight? I mean, Denver Harris played great. He grew up tonight. He dropped that interception, all right? It happens, right? I mean, it's just one play. Next play, we get a sack, gets negated by hands to the face. They go score right after that, right? I mean, even at the end, Gilbert, who played an amazing game tonight. Gilbert played amazing. He dropped that pick right at the 1-yard line, but they missed the field goal, so it didn't really matter. But there's these little plays along the way that we make or don't make that hurt us so much. The 12 men on the field, they bite us. But think about the time that would have been left on the clock, David. How much more time would have been left on the clock at the end of the game if we didn't have a mental mistake on special teams? I mean, so there's so many things along the way that we can clean up. If we can finally clean up that this team has the talent to go beat it. I know everybody watching this, this isn't like we're blowing smoke. This team is talented enough, young or not, to go and win every single football game. There's left on the schedule. There's no doubt about it. They need to do it. Why should we be afraid of Ole Miss? Right? We shouldn't be. Yeah, Lane Kiffin's a heck of a play caller, but we're a more talented football team than we got to find a way to go and execute. This offense has got to find a way to put freaking points on the board and get more than 350 yards one time. We can do it.
All right, Brandon, what we're going to do is we're going to put you on hold for a minute, bring you back in at the end. Let's get to Jordan Pugh here. Jordan, welcome to the show, man. I'd love for you to start things off with the little mistakes that really, honestly, to me, the biggest mistake of the game. There were several, but the one right before the half, Haynes throws that interception that leads to 3 points for Alabama. This game is played completely different that last drive if that is not an interception. If he doesn't force it out there, he just throws it away.
Yeah, I think that was a big mistake, but I think we're missing the biggest mistake that happened in the game. I want to say there was about 6 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. It's in the fourth quarter. We should have kicked the field goal. Burning that timeout, I think, is what hurt us. When you look at it, about 6:15, if you kick that field goal, you still got 2 timeouts left. At the time, I think we had 4 or 5 turnovers on defense, if I'm not mistaken, something around that number. Defense is playing well. Defense is doing their thing. You put your defense back on the field. You have extra time on the clock, and then you take your time running your plays on offense. I think that's where the real mistake was. Now, I think, like you said, the point swing, when you look at the field goal at the end of the first half, I think that hurt us a lot as well. Haynes, I don't know what he was doing throwing the ball. Just throw it 10 rows into the stands. I don't understand that portion. But I think we made a mistake just in decision making in that second to last series that we had. But overall, man, the defense played lights out. 4 turnovers, 5 turnovers on defense. You don't capitalize really on any of those turnovers. Our offense, the operation of our offense is the same. It's slow. I don't know what takes us so long to get in and out of sets, in and out of plays, in and out of personnel grouping. The defense kept us in the game. Our offense just, man, I think Brandon said it best, man. Evans, he bailed us out a lot today. A lot of the young guys stepped up a lot today. And then when you get to that last play of the game, I don't know what that was. You're going one-on-one. Worst case scenario, like I said, put it in Six's hands or spread the defense, empty the box. Heck, run a QB draw. You know what I mean? Something different, man, that they're not anticipating. But overall, man, I thought the guys they fought. I thought they played well. I thought they fought hard. I thought they stood up to the test. I thought they stood up to the pressure. I thought they answered the call. But here's what I'm going to say again: we cannot get out of our own way, and we can't outplay the coaching. I think today was another deal where we had a coaching fail, especially offensively. And until we get that right, man, I think we're going to be in the same situation. I think we're going to be in the same type of scenarios for the rest of the season until we can get that portion right. So it'll be interesting to see what they do offensively. Uh,
Sorry about
can
that.
you?
They're trying to fix the field, and
Oh
I
no,
had to
no,
mute
you
them.
good.
It got a little awkward. It's a very professional post-game show here. David Nuño, TexAgs post-game. All right. So, you know what's interesting to me, Jordan, is the fact that the offense somewhat turned it on, yet it's still light years away from being an effective offense. But I mean,
No.
if you look, they completed passes down the field, and there was a little bit more tempo, but they're still so far away.
See, I don't know where people are getting that from. We didn't have a tempo at all. When you look at, especially in the fourth quarter, the operation is so slow. We should be snapping the ball within 15 seconds. We should be able to look to the sideline, line up, and play. Guys are moving around too much. We're trying to get protections called. We should have one simple protection on offense, whether it's a slide protection, whether it's a fan type protection, zone protection. I don't know what that is. And it should be simplified. To Brandon's point, it seemed like everything is just so difficult. It's like just any yard we get, any type of play we get, everything is so difficult, man. Now, I will say this: I think Haynes grew up tonight. I think that he played well under the circumstances. And I will say this: being a player, looking at what Haynes or looking at how Haynes reacted to Jimbo at the end of the game, I think Haynes is tired of Jimbo. I think Haynes is when you go to the sideline each and every time, he's in your face, he's grilling you, he's this and that. I saw a guy that kind of stood up for himself a little bit, a little change, a little maturity, I think, from that aspect. Nothing to where it's bad, nothing to where you'll have any type of confrontation, but it's kind of a mental switch. And I think when you know that you're the guy now, when you have the type of game that you had, when you were moving the ball, you're making a little bit more plays with your feet, man. You played through some injuries because you could tell he was hurt on that last drive. There was a little switch in Haynes. So I think that's good. I think that's something that you could build off of. I just think there needs to be some accountability on offense. I think Jimbo needs to stop saying it's an execution issue. We have the players. The players were making plays despite the coaching. We just don't have any consistency. We still don't have any flow. We still don't have any rhythm. And for the life of me, it looks so difficult, man. It looks like everything is just a strain on us. Um, and that's a coaching issue. That's not a player issue. That's not an execution issue. That's just operational, and that's when it comes from the coaching.
Jordan, let's talk a little bit about this defense.
Okay.
Look, they got gashed for runs, but
Yep.
it's like all year long, I've thought, man, this defense isn't as good as people are saying, but they're really good. And that's I came away from this game. The defense was good enough to win. There's got some issues stopping the run, but
Yep.
I mean, they kept the team in the game. They gave the offense plenty of chances.
Oh yeah. I mean, look. At the end of the day, the way that the game is set up now is set up for the offense to succeed. At the end of the day, you don't want to give up more points than your opposing team. And that's the one thing that our defense, man, they did. They kept us in the game. You cannot have four turnovers. I think it was four on defense. How do you have four and you don't come away with the win? I mean, as a defensive player, that's what's frustrating for me. You do your part, you get off the field, you contain them when you have to. That guy Gibbs, man, Gibbs is real. Gibbs is that dude, that running back, man, and being able to contain them when you had to, um, you know, create the pressure, getting down into the four-man front. Finally, you see the difference in our defense when we had four guys down on that line of scrimmage, man, and being able to get pressure, contain Jalen in the pocket. I thought that was big time. But we've kind of been bend or don't break all season long. But every time that we've gotten into that shot zone, say that 35 and in down into the red zone, we've always tightened up. We've always made it hard for offenses. So I just think that it's the same theme all year. You're asking this defense to be perfect. You're asking this defense to create something out of nothing because you don't know what you're going to get from the offense. And if we could ever put it together, if we could ever get the offense to match what the defense is doing, we could beat every team easily, handily. We are, based on tonight, this is a one-game snapshot. We were the better team. We were better than Alabama. I think we played better than them. We played harder than them. We had more opportunities to make bigger plays than them, but we just couldn't capitalize on the opportunities that we gave ourselves. And that's the frustrating part. And that's what I think all of the Aggie fans are upset about. Is like, what else can there be? What is the answer to this thing? And it's just the common denominator of the offense, the common denominator of Jimbo calling the plays, and it all comes to a head at the last play of the game. And you just see like there's confusion. We had the timeout, and we come out and we do that. Everybody looks lost. It's frustrating from that aspect, man. Something's got to change on that front. But defensively, man, I think we're there. I think we're making strides. Our young guys are finally growing up, and we're playing as a unit.
All right, let's do this. Let's bring in Brandon, and we'll just do a back and forth here to close out the show. So bye week comes. All right, a young team. How beneficial is this bye week going to be for Haynes, for the young players, for a team that's really banged up? That today Jimbo in the press conference talked about it. How important is it, guys? And I'll let you start, Jordan, and then Brandon, you take it.
I mean, I think the bye week is good from a health perspective. I think it's good. I don't think that it's going to change much, what we do schematically as a team, because it is what it is. What you see from us is who we are. That's who we are right now. If we could just ever be consistent and we can put it all together, I think you'll see a lot of things change. But here's the good thing: a lot of our young guys, to B's point, they've grown up a lot through these weeks. You especially saw it tonight with Stewart. You saw Marshall step in and make plays. You've seen it in the cross with our front on the defensive line. I think you got time to reset with the bye week. You got time to really just see what you can do well, and you have time to operate within what Haynes can do offensively. I didn't think we used Haynes his skill set the best tonight either. You have the mobility factor that can be a weapon. I don't think he, is a super weapon with that, but you can add that into the arsenal as well. So I think there's a lot of things that you can be positive about, but I just think we are who we are. I think it is what it is right now. And I'm not hanging my hat on too many changes for what we're going to do, especially when that bye week comes.
Yeah,
Brandon, I'll let you take it, Brandon.
No, I mean, I agree. I think JP hit the nail on the head. Outside of the ability to get some more experience for these young guys and for us to get healthy as a team, I mean, we were down a significant amount of starters and a significant amount of experience tonight. But I think that you see the talent overcome the coaching in a lot of areas. Mm-hmm. And so for me, Nuño, I think the question is like, what changed? I mean, JP hit the nail on the head. I think that leadership to me is the most important factor with this football team. We're a top 5 talented roster. And the times that I've been around good leadership, whether it was in athletics or whether it was in the professional world, is when the people at the top are able to look themselves in the mirror and customize whatever it is, whether it's their business, whether it's their offense, whatever it is, to customize the thing, the machine, whatever it is, to fit what they have in place. When we got players coming off the field looking confused, when we got Jimbo looking at everybody like, what the hell's going on? Man, it's a you problem, brother. You need to change things and customize it to fit the talent that you have in place, to utilize these badass recruits that you're bringing into this program and not try to fit a square peg into a round hole. Man, it's not hard, bro. It's really not hard. This is truly about humility. Humble yourself. Adapt to the 2022 football. Like JP said, this game is built for the offense to succeed, and our offense looks like a Cadillac with 4 flat tires. We got all kinds of and we look like it's a struggle. Like, I'm watching our offense, and I'm like, ugh. Like, God, get 3 yards. My least favorite time of the game is when it's 2nd and 2. I'm like, oh, shit. Here we go. Excuse my 2nd and 2, bro, should be an advantage for the offense. But for me, someone said something about the Cheesecake Factory menu, bro, on the playbook thing. That's exactly right. Simplify it, bro. Index card, go Denzel Washington style. Remember the Titans. Figure out 10 to 12 plays that work. And quit making these think and let these guys go play. It's really not that hard. So the only besides us getting healthy and getting more experience is if we are willing to adapt our teams to fit talent. If we're not, then we are who we are. Like, literally.
Guys, let me jump in. Let me jump in, because while I agree with everything you're saying, I'm actually leaving this game encouraged. because the defense forced those turnovers. It wasn't Alabama giving you those turnovers. The defense forced those turnovers.
No,
And you went toe-to-toe with the number one team in the country.
Absolutely. Nuno, the defense caused 4 turnovers, and we scored 17 points. I don't know if that happened in the history of college football, bro. I mean, look at it, if I'm wrong, I'll never step on this show again. We created 4 turnovers. They missed 2 field goals. Every single point we scored came from what the defense did for us.
Yes.
The offense generated 0 points on their own. And I don't care if it was Alabama on the road, number one team. No, bro, what's his name? I can't – Gary said something during the broadcast, and he was like, out of so many 5- and 4-star recruits in the last 4 years, 50 to 70% of them have gone to Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas A&M, bro.
Yep.
Like we're playing with a, Allen High School football team, bro.
and look at it too. We're getting excited based off a backup quarterback that was in the game, not Bryce Young. We're getting excited based off that. A guy who they had to change the offense around. You could tell there was a clear change with what they did offensively, philosophy-wise, going into this game with us and him as starting quarterback. So what are we excited about? This is back to what I said. We are who we are. I think we are who we are because Jimbo will not change what we have. To B's point, we have all these 4- and 5-star guys. Football is not a hard game. I don't care what any analyst says. I have done it at every single level, from Pee-wee all the way to the professional level. At the end of the day, offense does 2 things. They run it or they throw it, and they get it into the playmaker's hands, period. That's what they do. And when you look at us, I'm telling you, and I think today was more so, it showed more of it. I'm looking at Haynes, I'm watching him, and I'm telling you, it's almost like paralysis by analysis with him. He doesn't look free. He doesn't look fluid. He looks stiff. I watched Haynes in high school. I watched him play free. I watched how he maneuvered. I'm looking at him now, and it just seems like he's trying to process so much. He's trying to do exactly what he's been told to do instead of just playing a kid's game, man, and playing ball. That's what we're missing. I think that we are who we are. The great thing about us, and here's the one thing that I'm encouraged about. All of the young guys are getting playing time now.
Yes.
I said it at the beginning of the year. I said, I think next year is our year. Now, all this experience that we're gaining, the guys getting hurt, the young guys having to step in on defense, on offense, all this is going to pay dividends when we strap up next year. But until Jimbo decides that he needs to give up the reins, like I've told you before, great football coach. I think he's a hell of a CEO. I think he knows how to run a program. I just think he doesn't know how to run an offense anymore.
Correct.
And until we get that, and until we get some continuity and chemistry going and a flow going, we're going to be having the same conversation. And every week is going to be a nail biter. You're going to be seeing the timeline with B's timeline on Twitter with him exploding because it is what it is. It is what it is, man. So, that's the frustrating part for us Aggies right now.
JP, we watched a number 17 KU team play a number 19 TCU team.
Right.
And the only reason we watched those 2 teams today and we're like, man, that was a fun game, was because the offense was dynamic, simple.
Yes.
It's not hard, man. Here's my thing. Y'all know this about me, and cut me off, Nuno. I am a huge believer in Jimbo Fisher as a leader. I truly am. I think this dude can bring in talent and recruit with the best of them. I think he can get down with all the recruits and their families. The dude's super likable. He's super well-spoken. He's a great leader. But if this cat doesn't look himself in the mirror and humble himself, he's going to waste all this talent. I'm telling you, he can bring it in with the best. If that dude would say, you know what, tip of that, I'm going to bring in a big dog OC, a young, super talented, sharp football mind, simplify this thing and feed the animals, feed the dogs, then it's going to be a sad story, man. It's going to be.
And I got one more thing.
Well,
if we think of two of the best offensive minds in college football, who do we think of? One, I would say, is Lincoln Riley. 2, you know what?
Lincoln Riley,
and let's go originator. Let's go Mike Leach. When you watch Lincoln Riley and you watch Mike Leach, I know everybody's been making a big deal about the play call sheet on the sideline. Have you ever noticed what their play call sheet looks like on the sideline? It's literally a note card with maybe 10, 12 plays. And there may be different formations, but they get the ball, they spread it out, and they get it to their playmakers' hands in space. The thing that I can't figure out, and looking at it from a defensive perspective, if I'm watching us, if I'm grading us, if I'm scouting us, the one thing that our offense does not do a good job of is getting our playmakers the ball in space. A-Chain is constantly having to make plays on his own. When you look at Evan Stewart, he's winning a lot of the one-on-one battles, but we're not getting him the ball easily in space. If we can figure out how to do that during the bye week, that's a win in and of itself. But I just think that, man, we're making this harder than what it needs to be. The talent is there. You saw that tonight. If we could just get out of our own way, a lot of things will change.
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, guys, I do agree with you. And I also came away a little encouraged. And I think I'm encouraged because I saw the guys who weren't making plays, like the Evan Stewarts, making plays. And he got that confidence that I think he needed. He needed to have one of those big games, and he had that big game. And he was huge in that. So you're right. He bailed out that offense, absolutely, as A-Chain's done on several occasions. And that's why I'm encouraged. The offense is still a problem, and it's going to be a problem for a while. So, they're going to have to figure it out.
They got to figure it out. It's insane.
Yep.
Tom trying to hit you over the head on your jacket, man. I think it looks okay, Nuño.
Yeah, man, you look good, man.
Bro, listen, guys, hate on him. Let Nuño's out there doing his thing. Listen,
hey, let me go ahead and tell you how it's going to go. Most of the people who make those comments, you see what they wear, okay?
Right.
I'm just saying, right? So you want to wear your Oshkosh Bagosh and your oversized T-shirt and your suspenders. You can wear it, all right? You do your thing. I think I got this fashion thing under control.
Hey, Dave,
so
you don't want on the camera, man. That's all that matters. They put the best looking ones on the camera, not everybody else.
Hey, gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's do it again, all right? I appreciate Brandon and Jordan Pugh there on the program. They were great. And look, I'm encouraged and I'm worried. All things happen. And that's what happens when you are a fan of this program. The offense has got to get better. They're exactly right. You get those 4 turnovers and you only come away with the 20 points in the game. And yeah, absolutely, that has to get better. And it's been a theme now for a couple seasons. That has to improve. But they found a little bit of lightning in the bottle with Evan Stewart, a guy that they know they can go to. Donovan Green continues to make big plays. Chris Marshall had some big plays. The offensive line is still an issue. Hopefully Bryce Foster, who did come back in the game, is good to go. That's something. But, gentlemen, thank you for joining the show. Thank you for everybody watching there on Facebook, on Twitter, at TexAgs.com, on YouTube as well. Ags lose 24-20, but they will have a bye week. Then they go on the road to South Carolina, and hopefully they can continue their run. Need to get to 9 wins in the regular season and hope for a 10-win season there in the bowl game. They've got to get that offense fixed. Thanks so much for watching.